Hello and welcome back. I'm Lincoln, and today's the 18th of October, which means our prompt for October3D was sucker, and I couldn't really resist doing one from Trick or Treat with Sam's sucker that he uses in the movie. So I'm going to put up the rest of the prompt list now. This sculpting challenge is all about learning new tools and techniques. So today I'm going to show you how to use a ruler and the built-in turntable in Nomad Sculpt to make the spiral around the stick. And then I'm also going to show you a quick shortcut on how to do the painting in one step. Alright, let's grab your iPad or other device. Let's go make a sucker. Alright, first thing we're going to do is get rid of this, and we're going to add a cylinder. Now for this, we need to go ahead and subdivide it. We can validate it. Now what we're going to do is just stretch it, stretch it up. Shrink it down a little bit, stretch it. It's really, this is just about finding the size you want depending on the speed of the turntable we're going to use in just a second. So we can see this and we know what rate it's spinning. I'm just going to put a little dot up here so we can kind of see. Now you can see, there's something on there, so we can kind of see how this is rotating. Let's click to the front. Go to the turntable. Now you can see here, you can adjust the turntable speed. I've got it maxed. You want it as fast. The slower you go, the harder it's going to be to make this even. So, four finger tap, go into paint, and you're going to see that I have this alpha in here with dot. I've got the lazy rope stabilizer about right there, about 38-ish. Stroke smoothing all the way up. And then over here, I have the painting on, and you'll see here, it does a nice job of it. So if you go in here, if you have the texture on, you can still do it as long as you have this. If you change this color, now it's going to change the color of your painting a little bit. So you want to make sure this is in pure white, so you're grabbing your texture. And we'll go into Procreate and make a couple of those real quick. So the way to make this so you can actually get on there, use a ruler. And I prefer just a plastic one. I've used my clipboard before on tutorials, but you could just pull it down like this, and it makes a nice even texture. Now, that's obviously a little small, so let's bump the size up. Try it again. And I have symmetry on, so it's doing the cross. And if you just wanted just a circle, a spiral pattern, just turn symmetry off. So that works for that. If you want just a spiral, you just, have to go and just line it up. Even if you bump it a little bit. Spirals are a little bit harder because it's hard to stay a little more consistent. There you go. So you have a nice spiral. Now if you just want a little bit more, increase radius. You just increase the radius, play with symmetry, however, just pick however you want it to go. There you go. Alright, a little wiggle in there. Try that one more time. That's it. That's a good one right there. So we'll leave it alone. Okay. So just to turn that off, just go and click out. Now to clean those up, just snap to a view, trim, go to rectangular line, whatever you want to do, and just nip the tops off, and you have a nice end on there. Now it will give you that little bit. If you want to fix that, you can paint it, but I'm going to leave it. It's fine. I don't really care. Okay. Now, if you want to know how to make the alphas, I'm going to do that right now. If not, you can skip ahead to when I make the sucker. So let's go out, and I'm going to save this first. Save, yes. I'm going to go into Procreate. Now, I have this set up, and I'll have a link in here so you know how to set this up, but I have it set up so I can make a 500 by 500 pixel 500 by 500 pixel 300 dpi canvas that's black, ready to go every time. Now you can make these a couple different ways, and I've shown you guys how to do the rotate. So we got a layer going there, so just pick a color. So let's just do let's do a brighter green this time, and I'll come in here and do a let's see, hard full pressure. You don't have this brush, this is a custom one I made, but just grab any brush that you can make a circle with and just make a circle. And it doesn't have to be a perfect one. I mean, you can do a circle selection if you want up here, which is pretty easy to do. You can do a circle and fill it, use the color fill option there. So now we can do the selection and put it dead center if you want. You know, remember, pick up your pencil, it makes it a little bit easier in Procreate. So that one's right on the center. So now you can just duplicate this one and move it if you want. And let's duplicate that one. Let's see. Actually, that one I want to shrink down a little bit because it's better if they're a little bit different sized. Now that one will change the color. Go in here and hit select. You just have to make sure you have color fill on. If you don't, it'll just select it, but if you color fill select it, it'll change your color. Now we'll go to, let's duplicate that one again. I'm going to select that one. Let's just make that one an orange. Select that one, color fill, and that looks about right there. You can make this perfect if you want. Now if you do a triple one like this, it's kind of cool because how you rotate it in the Nomad, it will do different colors. So you can have an orange on top of green or a purple on top of green. So let's go in here. Now this is the one time where I'll use a PNG as opposed to a JPEG. And we're going to save it in a different spot this time so you can use it in different places. So if you save it as a PNG and just save image, it'll save it to your photos. So now go back into Nomad. You don't have to close it out if you don't want to. This is just a different way to save something in if you like. So let's hide this one. I'm going to hide him, and we'll just add another cylinder just to give you a different view of how these work. Just come down a little bit. Go ahead, subdivide it, validate it. Okay, that's pretty good. Now, you don't have to put the inflate on there if you don't want to, and I won't on this one just because we're going to do a quick demo. Now, go into Paint, come in here. We can change your alpha, so we can change, or it's not going to be in here yet, so import to photos. And now you have this one here, so we can grab this one, select that one, and add. Now that one's in there. Now let's fix the rotation on it because you can change your rotation, and this is how, depending on how fast you pull down, how fast it's turning, and which way you have this rotated depends on what it'll do. It's kind of cool because you have multiple things out of the same alpha. Now the texture will do the same thing. Import from photos, import the same texture, add it. Okay, so now when we go to Paint, we're still in Paint. Let's go into this turntable. Now it's hard to see because it's turning, but you can't tell because it's doesn't have a dot of any kind on it. But we'll just drag. And doing it this way, you can see you have green kind of over the purple, and it's really small. So let's go back in and increase the size quite a bit. Yeah, go a little bit bigger. Okay, so with this rotation, with it straight up and down like that, it's going to do one thing. If we turn it just a little bit, you see it'll change it. So it depends on how you have it rotated and where you're at. Hit go, slide this over, and the smoother you can pull this, the better it'll be. Okay, there we go. So now you have a different style you can do. Now if we turn off symmetry, let's go back and do that one more time just so we can kind of see what the difference would be if you have that rotation with no symmetry. There you go, nice twist. And once again, you can just trim that off. And it's cool because you can just change your rotation and you'll get different color patterns just by rotating this. And this controls that. So you can see where this is at. If we rotate it here, you go in here and it changes that. They're connected. Okay. Now let's make the stick. So we're going to turn that one off. We'll turn this one on. And select that one. Alright, so that's the one we got going here. We're going to add a cylinder. And this is just kind of your basic, make sure you got snapping on. And increase the size, shrink it down. Oops. You guys won't have to do this. They still haven't quite fixed this on this. Okay, there we go. That's about the right size. I like that. Now, since you guys already saw me do the alpha, I already have an alpha in here for this one. I couldn't hardly resist doing a the one from Trick or Treat, the sucker, because that's kind of iconic. So I couldn't hardly resist that. But we'll change it up a little bit. It's not going to have the exact same face. It's just a regular jack-o'-lantern face on there. Let's go into stamp and change the alpha. And I have one. You guys saw me just do that, so you should be able to go and make an alpha. But what we're going to do is something a little different. First, let's paint this whole thing. So let's paint it. Let's do like a purple. Sounds good. Do like a dark purple. Okay, paint all. Now what we're going to do is change this to black. Okay, I'm going to leave it shiny like that. I like that. And what we're going to do is change the alpha. We have the alpha changed here. Now what's going to be cool is if you come over here and if you do this like this, nothing happens, right? We come in and to the brush and click on this. Leave this texture on white. Don't change your texture. Leave it white. And it goes black for you. So you don't have to mask and you don't have to paint. Let's get it straightened more or less on center. There we go. If you rotate it, now I have one side in and one side out, which is fine. I'm going to increase the intensity though. I want it to stick out a little bit more. But that's a really nice trick to make it so you don't have to stamp something or paint something separately and mask it if you're using a stamp, and that's available for pretty much every tool. So just go in, you pick your alpha you want, and you come over here and click on the painting stamp. It'll paint and stamp at the same time for you. You just have to make sure that you have your texture is white so that it matches this, and it'll stamp that one for you. Now on this one, I'm going to smooth out just a tiny little bit, just to kind of knock those high spots down and make it look a little better. Now I'm going to go ahead and give this a little bit of texture. So I do have stamp in here, and you can just come up with one. I just have one that's just called Pebble, and it does Pretty good job. Oop. And see there, and you remember to turn your paint off so it just does your stamp texture. That's way too much. There we go. So I want just a little bit of something going on there so it's not just smooth. Now let's come up with materials and hit refraction, and now we can see through it. Grab this gizmo, bring it down, and there you go. I think this I'm going to make a little bigger. Let's make that kind of bigger. Drag this one down. Yeah, that's pretty good. I like that. Now to do the cuts, pretty easy. I'm just going to solo that. Whoops, wrong one. Solo that one, and use the trim tool with the lasso, and I will just cut this thing out. I don't like that one at all. Let's try this again. Nope, still don't like it. There we go. That's nice and nasty sharp. Now if we come here and turn a little bit, you can still trim these off a little. Use your view cube to move it so you don't have to worry about messing with anything. And you just kind of work your way around, cutting angles off. And it'll sharpen it up a lot. There you go. I like that. Leave that alone. That's pretty gnarly. Alright. Turn the solo off. And let's increase those a little bit. Hey, I hope you guys learned something with this tutorial. If you guys are enjoying this, please like and subscribe, and I will see you next time. Alright, thanks.